Welcome to the Filmistines, the podcast where we discuss all things movies. Join us as we dive deep into the latest releases, revisit classic films, and explore the art of cinema. Whether you're a film fanatic or just love a good flick, we've got you covered. From Hollywood blockbusters to indie gems, we'll be breaking down the storytelling, cinematography, and everything in between. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready for some cinematic magic. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/filmistines. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $5 tier grants the ability to request films for future episodes. This is the Filmistines, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience. All around you. And welcome back to another episode of the Filmistines. Thank you for joining us today, this glorious day under our very average sequence C star, is that what it's referred to as? I'm joined today by my furry friend. Did I say that last time? Lucy.
Hello, everyone. Furry friend. Isn't that a euphemism for something?
Well, furry is someone who likes to dress up as
Animals,
sort of. Like, not in a realistic way, normally, I think, but like in a very cheap costume kind of way.
Like my pushing cat onesie?
Yes, but yes.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Maybe a little furrier with fur. Yeah, so.
All right.
Yeah, thank you for joining me today. Happy to have you.
Thank you for letting me be here, I guess.
You're welcome. You can join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for brand new episodes of the Filmistines. Listen to us over on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Patreon, Spotify. Some of our recent episodes include The Visit, our Patreon exclusive episode where we rank M. Night Shyamalan's filmography, Insidious Chapter 2, Sunshine, Her, all kinds of films. My favorite film of the year, Teenage Kraken, of course. Your favorite film of the year, Barbie.
The Meg 2, you mean?
The Meg 2, yeah. Speaking of Barbie, real quick, it passed Mario.
No.
It is now number 1
No.
of the year.
Well, I'm done.
But Oppenheimer passed Guardians, so it's number 3.
No.
So that's cool. So we have a new shooken up kind of top half, or top 5, big time.
God.
Or top 3, I guess.
Now I'm upset.
Yeah, I think that's cool. It's, I don't know, the Barbie Mario thing. Why am I rooting for either of these mega corporations? But I don't know. The Oppenheimer thing's cool though. I'm glad that snuck up there. We have a follow-up episode today, I guess you could say. We are covering the sequel to Garfield the movie, Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties. A Tale of Two Kitties. Not written by Joel Conan of the Conan brothers, but a different Joel Conan. As Bill Murray feels, bamboozled on that.
If he felt so bamboozled, why did he come back?
Yeah, you never know. It could have been the contract. If this movie hit this kind of budget, you're expected to show up for the next one. Who knows? But yes, Bill Murray definitely understood the assignment. He knew what he was getting involved in. And he knew how much money he was about to make off of this. And I'm sure he's more than happy to, well, I don't know. Because, a lot of people, a lot of very down-to-earth, kind of reflective, philosophized people in the world, they when they reach a certain amount of money's made, they can look back and be like, I don't need to make any more money. I have the freedom to do what I really want to do. And I think Bill Murray's in that space.
Oh, okay.
And so, because I was going to say he might do this again, to make the money, but he's got all the money any one man could ever want. There's no doubt about it. I guess unless he's just crazy with his money. Who knows? But
yeah, maybe he's in debt.
He might actually be, but if he was in debt, I don't think he'd be working with Wes Anderson because Wes Anderson doesn't make any money. He's got states and shit and countries funding his films. Oh, they're all write-offs and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
No, just kidding. Wes Anderson's great. But yeah, man, we are covering the follow-up to a childhood favorite of yours and many others. Garfield, A Tale of Two Kittens. I want to say kittens.
You can say kittens.
Tale of Two Kittens.
They'll read the title.
It's, I just want to say off the top, it's better than the first one. It hones in on the cartoon element, which we don't really have. It's because Garfield's a comic strip, so that's the source material is not a cartoon. It is procedural. It's like the origin of procedural. It's like the origin of truly procedural, the procedural medium, I guess. the comic strip is, and cartoons no doubt took a page out of that notebook. And so that's cool. I think the common thread there is very cool. Or I think the tether there is cool. So, but I like that this kind of runs with a cartoony thing versus the first film is very, very one note and just delivers on introducing, everything we know about Garfield is in this movie. It's like he loves lasagna, he's fat, he hates Sundays, he likes black eyed peas apparently. That's all in the first one. And now we're introduced to like the world of Garfield and that there's Garfield lookalikes that are royalty, and that's weird and fun. So I don't know, man. Tell me a little bit about this Garfield sequel that I can't believe we got. It makes sense, I guess, money-wise, but I can't believe we have 2 Garfield movies. That's strange, if you ask me.
Well, I'm gonna disagree with you, but it's not a huge disagreement. It was hard for me to pick which one I like more than the other. So, we're not completely off here.
Okay.
But I do think I like the first one better. This one gave me better CG, and I like that. I like that it gave me more, maybe plot-wise, and, just more to the story. It wasn't as one note as the first one. But I don't like how kiddish it went. I think it just went overboard on the kiddish, and I just didn't like that. It was too much.
Yeah, I guess that is what I like. It kind of because it leans into that because we put John and Liz a little bit on the back burner here. They were a little bit more front and center, sort of in the first film because Garfield was like I'm John's life, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So John was a big part of that. And then this, John's really just not really part of the plot, really in any way whatsoever.
I guess he's how do you say that? The MacGuffin?
Yeah, he's a MacGuffin.
Because he needs to go to London to propose to Liz.
Yeah.
He can't wait for her to come back for some reason. He has to go. So I guess that starts Garfield's other world, other life here. But yeah, otherwise, they're kind of in the background.
Yeah, I like that about this, I guess.
But, okay, we got rid of John and Liz, but now we have the new bad guy, Lord Dargis, and all his lawyer friends, and then now we have animals. So it's like we went from Liz and John to all this other stuff. We still don't have more Garfield.
Yeah, we got a lot of Prince and the other animals here. That's true. We did lose a little Garfield in the process of becoming a little bit more kid-oriented and just cartoonish and silly. But I think it's a good trade-off after you've seen the first film because you quickly realize that Garfield's not a real character. He is just a fat cat that likes lasagnas and hates Mondays. You know what I mean? So it's amazing they were able to pull a story out of Garfield anyways, I think, like this, because I think it's funny in just a strange way. Like, who would have fucking thought, all right, let's have an identical cat who lives in Britain, comes from royalty, is the whatever generation, 12th, 13th generation of this cat. For some reason, they all look alike, identical to Garfield, and they're gonna get swapped. It's just that's a funny premise for a Garfield movie. I don't know how that comes to be, and I like that. And I like the beginning, of course. I think we discussed it a little bit right after we watched it. How it's a hardcore Aristocats homage. Is it a ripoff? I don't know because I think it's done pretty tastefully.
Yeah, I don't think it's a ripoff. I think it's almost an inspiration. So I think they did a great job with that.
And I do prefer the villain here because he's also a little more cartoony. And he's all about getting the house. And it's just so stupid. And he's like trying to navigate all these adults around so they don't see that the animals are conspiring against him and they make him look crazy. And I like that angle.
And I don't like this bad guy. I think I don't know. Now that you say that he's a little too cartoonish, that might make me change my mind. Because his cartoonishness, I guess, is what made me not like him. It was like too exaggerated, too extra. But then again, that's the point of this.
Yeah, because at the same time, we had all the animals who they had their little manor royalty mansion, like kind of not really hierarchy, but you know they knew their places and they were like their servants and serfs and cooks and whatever and butlers to Prince, and that is, you know, it's hard, you know, that's like a big part of the movie is, you know, being around these animals, these farm animals. They're not even really farm animals. They're like, I guess they're just kind of pet/barn animals. They kind of just are they just live amongst the mansion and they just are there.
Do shit.
Yeah, they're with Prince. Yeah, it's
his
so like,
entourage.
They are just his entourage, and you know, and then the ducks do they're the little trumpets or whatever.
Yeah.
The horns and stuff, and which is cute, and you hear the banter and stuff like they're at like a Game of Thrones meeting or something, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like it's really cartoony, and I like that the most cartoony character is the villain, of course, right? And then everything else is just like normal mundane ass life, and so it kind of it just puts a nice contrast between the two. And Dargis is right in the middle, and they paint him, you know, not intentionally as basically crazy. They do drive him crazy, but they also make him look crazy. And I think that's really, I don't love this movie either. I'm talking it up a little bit too much right now.
Yeah.
But I think that's a really fun point that they managed to pull off pretty nicely.
Yeah, maybe it's something about the talking animals that I don't like that just turned me off.
The talking animal thing is strange, especially when they're real animals and they animate their mouths.
Yes.
It's weird. And I don't know why it looks so good sometimes. I'm just like, this shouldn't look and feel like, this shouldn't feel right, but it's working, and I don't like that. It's like, I guess, kind of uncanny. That new film Strays is kind of going to be like that, I guess. And it's just, I don't like it, but it works surprisingly well.
Yeah, hopefully it's done better here.
One of my favorite films was the remake of Homeward Bound when I was a kid.
I didn't watch those. I know what you're talking about, but I didn't watch those.
Yeah, those the remakes, the animals talk. In the original, they don't think they talk. In the original Homeward Bound, the cat character, if I remember correctly, man, it's crazy. The cat character fights a cougar, and I think it dies in real life. The cat dies because it's a real cougar fight.
No.
I'm pretty sure. And so they had this, like, they went through several cats, I'm pretty sure, during the filming of that.
No.
Isn't that so? I'm pretty sure that's right. You had to double check me on that.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
When was that filmed?
I think the late 60s.
Oh my God. My heart is breaking. Oh no. That's not okay.
And in the remake, I don't think we see the cougar fight. It's been so long, but I can't remember. But there's kind of like the cougar scares him away or something. I don't know. But the dog also fights the cougar, or one of the dogs. There's two dogs and a cat, and one of the dogs also fights. I think they fight the cougar off in the original, but I can't remember. That film was crazy.
Oh my gosh, no.
It's crazy.
I do like that this is a typical, you know, Prince and the Popper kind of story, which seemed to be kind of popular back then. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But it feels like a lot of movies came out in the early 2000s that had a royalty princess or prince that had a non-royalty, either twin, look-alike, or something. And they switch places.
So there's a little bit of a cliche happening here.
Yeah, and in the introduction of the film...
Or a trope, I should say.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. In the introduction of the film, we see these little illustrations of Garfield doing just kind of something mischievous with different fairy tale characters. Like we see him, I don't remember, but I thought I saw him pushing Humpty Dumpty off the wall and then stealing from Little Red Riding Hood's basket. And there was another one. Oh, the Three Blind Mice. he was stealing their food. I don't know. It was all food related. So that's kind of the hint on this is a classic. I don't want to say fairy tale. I don't know if the Prince and the Pauper is a fairy tale per se, like these other ones are, but maybe a children's story. So I do like that a lot. Yeah, a fable. There you go. Perfect word. So I like that. I really like that a lot, which might be the only reason this, comes up a few notches.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good thought actually. That's a good pull.
It's like that Lindsay Lohan movie Parent Trap. I don't know when that came out, but it seems about that time, right? I don't think it's a 90s movie. And I think one of them comes from a rich family and one of them comes from a poor family.
Yeah, I would say it's probably like 1998, 97.
Okay.
Yeah, because this was A Tale of Two Kitties came out in 2006.
Yeah, 1998. The Parent Trap came out in 1998.
Yeah, because she's... The only reason I can kind of pinpoint that is because she's looking a little older now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And that Netflix Christmas movie, man, she was looking older.
I know she's had it hard, right? Battling with certain issues and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I think drug addiction. So, that's unfortunate, but... Sorry, Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, sorry.
But there was another movie, and this was a Barbie movie, and it was The Princess and the Pauper. And it looks like it came out in 2004. And that was probably one of my favorite animated Barbie movies. I think I had the dolls, too. And again, same story. One was rich, one was poor. Switch places.
Yeah, that must be a very classic fable. I'm not super familiar with that premise. I've also never seen a Barbie movie. Other than the new Barbie movie, but an animated Barbie movie? There's a lot of them, yes. I know that. But I've never seen one. Is there an actual good Barbie movie, or are they all just commercial, little 60-minute films for 5-year-olds, for girls who are just obsessed with pink and Barbie?
I can't tell you that with my new Shinigami eyes. Because from me remembering them, they were great. So I'd have to rewatch them for sure. Because, I was very young. Very girly watching these. So.
I could see at least some of those early Barbie movies being like surprisingly deep. I don't know. The ones today I guarantee are not very good. But the ones from, I don't know when they first started coming out, but the 90s and early 2000s ones, I could see them being interesting in weird ass ways. I could see that.
Yeah, I'm going to look into that.
Yeah, do that. I like that the bulldog was like Garfield's butler.
That was funny.
I always thought that was kind of fitting. That's probably the main thing that sticks out in my mind. Always has about this movie. The bulldog is if that type of dog had an occupation, it would be a butler.
Why do you think that?
I don't know. I've always thought that, maybe because of this movie, but I've always felt like that's just a perfect marriage of ideas.
It's probably because they're kind of chubby, and often butlers are chubby.
Yeah, because in my head, bulldogs are either like Englishmen, like in my head, if they were people, or like super, what's the word for like a Mexican gangster?
A cholo?
A cholo, super cholo, like
that's
with the bandana and stuff and everything. It's one or the other, and that's just, and so if you put them in the right context, they fit. He is the butler, it's perfect. I've always liked that.
Is that from a movie? Because that feels right.
I don't know. It might be. Is it from George Lopez's Chihuahua movie?
I didn't watch that.
You haven't?
I refuse to watch a Chihuahua movie.
It's a movie.
I guess. Unless it gets requested.
I remember.
I'm not watching that.
I think it was the third one.
They made 3 of these?
Where I think they go to Hollywood. Pretty sure that might be the first one, but I'm pretty sure it's like the third one. They go to Hollywood, and I just remember watching the whole thing, and I can't believe I was able to sit through all that. But yeah, that's a different story for a different time.
Was a lot of the lighting in this movie natural?
Not inside, but outside.
Because they were in a mansion inside. I'm assuming mansions have a lot of windows and a lot of natural light.
Yeah, you'd hate to hear that pretty much everything filmed inside is not natural.
Okay.
So just
Because I know there's a lot of manipulation with lighting to get rid of shadows and stuff, but I don't know.
people, so like generally when films are made, when you're trying to catch a natural look, you'll blast crazy light from outside through a window, but none of it's, that's usually what's happening. Because the sun catching people all nice and lit up, looking good, nice texture and nice depth on everything, doesn't naturally happen with just daylight, sunlight. You gotta get a lot of rays in there to bring out that depth.
Yeah, and I guess you're filming all day, so the sun is moving.
Yeah, and that's an important point too. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but a lot of the outside stuff, like the barn scene, that wasn't even outside, I bet.
Because there's the barn scene, and then there's when our villain dude throws him in the river. There's the touristy scenes with Odie and Garfield, John driving. There's quite a bit outside.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say for sure. The river scene was probably very real and doctored up. Because we gotta remember we're also in England, right? It's not bright in England. It's a very gray area. There's not a lot of sunlight, and they make it look really beautiful. And we just know that England's not beautiful. It's
damn.
So if you the rolling hills and stuff, if you like that, if you're into that, if you're into the light rains all the time and shit, that that's cool and all. I'm sure I would love England. That's why they're all pale, because they don't have any sun. So probably almost all of this was heavily doctored in a lot of ways, and a lot of this was probably everything that could be done on a set was done on a set, probably.
Okay.
Because I would imagine even like the city walks and stuff that were kind of happening, all of that was probably done on a set.
What?
Like some maybe pre-made kind of city set that is just used for lots of movies. That's pretty common to have.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, you should look at the like Warner Brothers. I know a lot of it's like kind of.
But this is why I can't study film, because the magic will be lost.
Yeah, some of it will be lost.
No.
But at the same time, directors love, especially your kind of gonzo indie directors who don't want to spend a lot of money. They'll go out and try to do it the cheapest way possible, and so a lot of times that is just, I'll give you $5,000 to film in your house for a week. They'll be like, all right, depend on, it just kind of all depends on who you know and stuff. But this film was definitely filmed in they call it a soundstage or on a studio lot. But yeah, you should look up some pictures of the like Warner Brothers studio lot. They have a lot of, like, over here it'll look like a western town, and over there it'll be the White House, and over here it'll be New York City, and over here it'll be this very specific corner in Las Vegas. Just be like a mix match of different just things they might need for different stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That'd be really fun to go visit.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of that might be there for some like touristy kind of just cultural kind of things, because at the end of the day, a lot of things are just built in sound stages anyways, so I want to say, I'm not too sure. I want to say back in the 40s and 50s that sets were reused more often.
Okay.
So I think there's a little something to that. I'm not 100% on that. That should be an easy look up, really, but
yeah, I just figured with all the outdoor scenes, and nothing felt different. I don't know. Maybe it did feel a little brighter.
Well, from outside to inside?
No, just I guess compared to the first one, this one felt a little brighter.
Yeah, it did. I guess because of the grass too. Like we saw some big patches of green grass and stuff, and it definitely felt brighter. I would have to agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I was just thinking it was if it was more natural light or what, but
yeah, unfortunately, natural light on a camera isn't usually very flattering.
Look, I'm just thinking about my selfies. They look great under natural light.
Yeah.
But also, I'm just standing there.
Capturing that very specific moment.
Yeah, for a minute.
Yeah.
If that. So.
We'll have to watch Revenant. I think that film is entirely natural.
Really?
And it's an amazing looking film.
That's the Leo one, right? I think
Yeah.
I think I saw some of that, but I fell asleep. Isn't it long? Or I just fell asleep? I don't know.
It's probably pretty long if I had to guess. I can't remember, but yeah, that film. I think that film is what got him the Oscar finally. He had to get inside.
A horse, right?
Oh, okay, you've seen it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've seen enough of it. He had to get inside of a bear
A bear, okay.
to get an Oscar.
Oh my gosh. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep.
He was like, okay, Titanic wasn't enough.
No, Titanic is not enough.
And then, what's the other one that we watched recently?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah,
wasn't
that's the one a
enough.
lot of people thought he got kind of snubbed on.
And then I don't remember anything past that, really. But he's in a lot of great films. He deserved his Oscar. I'm just saying. But back to the film. I wrote this down because you said it when we were watching the movie. And it was the scene where Garfield, it's like towards the beginning, where Garfield turns on the music and it scares John and he spills the whole wine bottle all over himself and he falls over.
Yeah, John's a little bit of a mess in this movie, especially.
I just thought it was so funny that you said that. You were like, who reacts like that? And I get, the cartoonishness here. So I guess I didn't think about that watching the movie, but I thought about it in the first one. I don't know what was happening here, but it was just so funny.
Yeah, I guess that ties a little bit into the cartooniness of this and helps kind of build that perspective. But it's kind of really in contrast to the first one too, because John wasn't he wasn't like that in the first one.
No.
And so they took a different approach here for sure. And right out of the gate, I guess I forgot about that. Right out of the gate, they were like, all right, this is going to be a little bit different Garfield. And all right, I was okay. They did it. They did an okay job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's surprising this movie isn't dog shit, to be honest. No pun intended. Good dogs. But it's really surprising this movie's not complete garbage. It really, really is, because who would have thought a sequel to the Garfield movie would even be as good? You know? The first one's not great, I don't think. Do you think it's great? I can't remember.
It's a childhood favorite, so that's kind of, it blurs a little bit of your lines, but it's not a great piece of...
Yeah. Is it a guilty pleasure?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's a guilty pleasure for sure.
Yeah, that's good. You need guilty pleasures, to be honest, to help keep you well-rounded. For every 10 out of 10, you need a guilty pleasure. It's the balance of life.
I think I have the opposite problem.
For every guilty pleasure, you have a favorite?
For every 10 guilty pleasures, I have a favorite.
Oh, okay. No. For every 10 out of 10 favorite.
Oh, okay.
You need a guilty pleasure to kind of balance the scales. For every 10 guilty pleasures,
I thought that's what you said.
Well, that is a different problem. That's not the opposite problem. That's like the contrapositive problem.
My bad. I misheard you.
That's funny.
I also wanted to bring up that weird ass scene where they just decided to, change the rate here and slow down those corgis coming out of the castle. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah, that was weird.
It was like the two corgis, and it was the frame rate. They slowed down the frame rate a lot. It was weird. Why?
Because they're royalty. I don't know. They were the Queen's corgis, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah,
the royal corgis.
I don't know what that was about. That was funny. It's stupid. It was stupid. It wasn't funny. I take that back, but it was funny and like, I don't know about that.
Because that type of, what do you call that?
Slow-mo.
Yeah, that type of slow-mo, that happens in the editing, right?
Yeah.
So, I guess when do you decide to make that type of slow-mo? Usually I see it when somebody's kind of experiencing this what the fuck moment. Maybe some sort of like disorientation. Yeah,
or like a sexy moment. Like girl gets out of the water or something.
Yeah, and she's coming out all sexy and stuff. Yeah.
And neither of those apply to these corgis. They weren't like, ooh,
Sexy corgis.
I guess that'd be kind of weird anyways for Garfield. I guess it was Prince who was seeing the...
It was Garfield.
Yeah, Garfield saying that about dogs would be kind of strange. I don't know if we need to cross-pollinate animals quite like that. We'll leave that to the furries, but it is a little weird. I don't know what I don't know why not just let them say what they said about the royal corgis, and the corgis just stroll by, but yeah, instead they go with something that's gonna stick out.
Yeah,
It's
and
weird.
I think Garfield's like, oh look, there's the royal corgis, and he like moves around some people to watch them, and then we have that weird slow-mo scene, and then I don't remember what he says, but he's basically like, well, screw you guys, or like, you're stuck up, or something like that. I don't know. It was just weird. I've never noticed that before.
Is it something specific that the editors or Tim Hill, the director, is like, we got to stick it to the man in some way or another?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
It's always kind of funny. I don't know if that's what's happening here, but that is kind of a funny move when companies like a Nickelodeon or well, I guess at this time I'm not sure. It looks like these were distributed by Fox back in the day, which is what I was about to say. It's kind of funny when a Disney type figure has something to say about really anything, because they're like oftentimes part of the problem about whatever they're saying.
Yeah, people say that about you.
Yeah, you're not in the position like when you lose your indie status or your whatever status. You kind of, I don't know. It's kind of silly when you have something to say that's like that, which is just kind of, it does suck for them because it starts to limit. It starts to feel like that. I can imagine working for being a Disney exec or director or creative or whatever. It feels like it probably kind of limits what you can do, because that's...
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know if they give a shit. I think they clearly give a shit based off of the vanillifying of and just commercializing all of their shit. Like, everything is just nonsense, and it's just like printing coloring books or something. It's just like there's just nothing to any of what they're doing.
Yeah, especially with all the recent stuff with the inclusivity.
Yeah, and it's such a half step.
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, it's just so bizarre.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. It's an identity crisis, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I hope they rebound, because I don't want, don't need people losing their jobs. Although, Disney, hit me up. If you're looking for cheap work, I'll do whatever you want me to.
All right. Not me, Disney. I have standards.
I don't have standards.
I guess the last thing I want to say about this movie, my favorite scene is when he's teaching them how to make the lasagna.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite scene too. And it's just another great cartoon.
Yes.
There's a lot of, they own the cartoon the angle they've taken here. It's actually kind of surprising. It's surprising this movie makes sense. They set the logic out.
It makes sense. The first one made sense.
The first one makes sense, sure. But they set the logic out. Well, first of all, they take a different angle, and then they set new logic out. They get us in London. It's just like, okay, how the fuck? But it all just kind of comes together and works out, and it's a pretty effective Garfield movie. And I'm with you. I have to agree. I think the lasagna cooking scene is probably the coolest scene of the movie.
Yeah. It's, even as a kid, it was awesome. Rewatching it, it was awesome. So
I had forgotten completely about that scene, but when the butler bulldog was like, what do you want? And Garfield's like, I want fucking lasagna. You giving me all this nonsense, which is also funny because the Brits are made fun of for their shitty food too.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And it's lasagna. And so they're going there and trying to make lasagna, and they have no idea even what lasagna is, right? And so Garfield walks up in there, and he's teaching all these people he's teaching all these guys to make lasagna, and they all get to eat lasagna with him. It's cute.
It's adorable.
It's all just it's almost like a very biological It's almost like a biological Rube Goldberg machine all happening at once. You know, we got all these moving pieces and stuff. It's fun. That's good. And then my favorite part of all that is when I think the goat it is stepping on the tomatoes, the tomatoes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And making some sauce for us.
That's hilarious. I thought you were gonna say when the goat shuts the oven door.
That's
no.
Too.
I think he pushes the lasagna pan in. So he's got 2 jobs here.
Yeah, those are cute.
Yeah, I like that he's not only teaching them how to do or how to make lasagna, but it's 3 cheese lasagna. I like that he's specific.
He's an aficionado. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Nice little detail.
Yes. I also liked when I think it was the ducks and like maybe the bulldog were like in the background of something, and they were like peeking around a corner. I think maybe around Dargis or something, and Dargis looked and they were gone. I liked that. That was nice and stupid. So decent for a Garfield film. It's, I can't believe it works. It's a really kind of surprising film. What would you give it on your letterbox? You have no idea?
I have no idea. I'm not going more than a 2. Now I sound like you. Whoa.
Yeah, I'm not going more than 1.
All right, never mind.
It doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, it's
serviceable. That one space is pretty much mostly serviceable.
And I didn't like Prince's voice. It was a
yeah.
little too it just didn't fit Garfield, or it didn't fit English Garfield. So, not to say that's why it gets this low of a score, but yeah, it just wasn't doing it for me. I definitely give the first one maybe 0.5 higher, whatever I decide to give them. But if the first one is 2.5, this is a 2. Or if the first one's 2, this is a 1.5. That's probably where I'm at.
Yeah, that's respectable. That's good. Well, how much do you think this movie cost to make? Can I get your budget prediction guess?
So the first one made 50, or the budget for the first film was 50.
Yeah.
So I know
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. So I know it had to be higher. So I went 60 million originally, but I felt that might have been a little too low for the sequel, knowing how much money the other one made. And there were a lot more characters, whether human or animals, but there were a lot more characters, a lot more places. But now that you said that about set designs,
I mean, still though, it's building out a set is much more expensive than filming on location though. So
okay, so that's why I bumped up that 60, and I'm going with 75 million.
Yeah, which makes sense because it's, I don't know why, but I guess I'm starting to realize that super commercial films tend to be much more expensive than you think. It's kind of funny. I don't know how Hereditary cost 10 million when a film like Garfield can cost more than 50 million.
Yeah, I wonder if there's something there about, wait, what'd you say? 50 million? That was the...
So the budget for the second Garfield, Tale of Two Kitties, is 60 million. According to the wiki. So you're right there.
I should have gone with my first guess.
It went on to make 143 million, so
Okay.
it did decent.
Good job.
I'm a little bit surprised we didn't see a third one, but this was right before studios and distributors realized they could fuck things into the ground infinitely, until even when nothing was there to fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just pretend and tell you that they're fucking something and nothing's actually there, and then they hand you a plate of nothing.
Damn.
And I'm just like, what is this?
What
Get that corn out of my face. That's what I say.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I mean that's awesome. That's cool. I like it when everything makes money. It helps the world go around. That's a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah.
The budget.
Yes.
How expensive these films are. Just like No Hard Feelings. Just like, what?
I wonder if there's something to... Well, there's got to be. Something to just small little costs here or there with, I guess, non-movie related stuff. Like the lunches, the dinners, the coffees, the donuts, the rides. Maybe Hereditary, they, made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
all carpooled together.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's definitely something to say about things like paying for people's gas and per diems and everything. And it might even be worth saying too how much can each of these, department keys and shit, they might ask for more money because they're working with someone like a Fox versus whoever Ari Aster. Maybe they're just working with Ari Aster and he's working with a few producers. They're not even working with a big production company.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's
A24
true.
is huge now, obviously, but they are different, because if you made a piece of art, ceramic, painting, or whatever, you're like, all right, I'm gonna sell this thing, and this rich little white lady comes up to you versus this normal ass person. You might sell it to her for 3 or 4 times as much.
Heck yeah.
Because she can, and she's probably happy to pay it. Yeah, she may not even want it if it's only $500. She's only gonna buy it if it's $2,500. So I'm like,
exactly.
Right, okay, you need something else? Buy 2 get 1 free.
I'll make it right now.
I'll do
in front of you. I'll film it. Whatever you want.
Yeah. So there might be a little bit of that happening too, but I don't know, man. It's strange. It really is. I'd like to get to the nut of that at some point. But it's also worth saying that there's more indie films coming to theaters and coming to your TV more than ever because it's just easier to get that out there. So, I don't know. Maybe it might be worth saying too that maybe these productions are just stacked full of people versus something like Hereditary maybe only has 80 people on staff versus 400. You know what I mean? So there's that too.
Yeah, the personal assistant didn't have a personal assistant.
Exactly. Yeah. That does happen. But yeah, man, thank you for watching this film with me.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Do you have a game for me today?
I do. I have a new game for you today.
A new game. I like new games, especially when I platinum my old game.
This one should be even quicker than the
rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Are you ready? It's word associations. So only give me one word and fast.
Okay.
Don't think about it too much.
Okay, let's try.
All right. Garfield.
Monica. I don't know.
What'd you say?
Monica. Don't know what happened there. That's
All
the
right.
first word that popped in my head.
It's what popped. London.
France.
Prince.
Green. I don't know. That's just. It's the first thing that's popped in my head. I don't know what's happening here.
John.
Kramer.
My God.
Hey, that's John Kramer's from Saw.
Yes.
I didn't think about that.
You didn't think about that.
No.
I thought that's where you were going.
No.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
That just happened.
All right, we know where your mind's at.
That's funny. That's so subconscious, isn't it?
Trousers.
Whale for some reason. I don't know.
All right. Mark Twain.
Like a children's book. I see like a stick figure book in my head.
All right, stick figure book. Inheritance.
Like coins. Like a roll of coins.
And last one, corgis.
Like a yellow Burger King crown.
All right, now I'm gonna submit your survey here to a psychologist, and let's see what comes back.
That's funny.
Thank you for playing with me.
You're welcome. You want me to do it to you, or does it not work the other way?
I don't think it works the other way.
Yeah, because you're anticipating it a little bit.
Yes. Yeah, because I guess I was also thinking of things when I was writing these.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't compare writing it to someone saying it to you on the spot there and then.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, maybe when I do a word associate,
you can tell me.
I can tell you, and you prep some.
Okay. Yeah, we can try that.
Oh, that looked hard. Or it's just you. I don't know. All right. Well, thank you for playing with me.
Yeah, I was hoping I wouldn't say anything offensive because I was just gonna let it fly.
Yeah. Wait. Look, in word association, it is what it is.
Yeah. Just because something pops in your head doesn't mean one thing or another. I totally understand that.
Yeah, we'll see what your test says.
That's funny. John Kramer. That
was a good
one.
pull. Yeah, that was good.
That one just because the other side of my mind was on Seinfeld. That was like next in line. If Kramer didn't pop out. I guess Kramer came out because there's a character named Kramer in Seinfeld. That's where that came from.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
His name's Cosmo Kramer. He's the neighbor. He's
yeah.
Jerry's Kramer. He's Jerry's neighbor.
Yeah. The tall dude.
Tall dude, yeah. Here, in the very first episode, he busts up in Jerry's apartment and asks him if he has any bread. I think. Isn't that what happens?
I don't remember.
That's how Kramer's introduced to the show.
That's funny. I don't
He's
remember.
like, Jerry, do you have any bread? I think that's what he says. Or maybe he's looking for jam or something. He pulls out bread from his jacket. I'm not sure. Both of those are fucking weird. I don't know. Yeah, man, thank you for talking about Garfield 2, Tale of Two Kitties. Decent film. Thank you for recommending these pair of films.
Thank you.
Haven't seen them in a long time.
I know.
And I probably will never see them again. This is probably it. It's on the record with me watching them, both of them, so I never have to do it again. You know what I mean? Kind of like collecting trophies on PlayStation. All these games on Platinum, and never gonna touch them again.
Yeah, I'll probably watch the first one again, if I'm being honest here.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening to this episode. It was great and fun talking about these Garfield films for you guys. You can join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for new episodes. Go check out our Patreon. Go check out our new Patreon exclusive episode covering M. Night Shyamalan's films. But until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Filmsteins. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion, gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/Filmsteins. And follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching and keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmsteins, signing off.